this is messing up, so we'll just do the best that we can. One of these is making it do that. All right, on page 100, we have some equations with variables on both sides. So let's work through some examples, and I'm going to do the positive numbers. Look at number 2. Man, that's beautiful. How come they all can't be like that? Okay, number 1. Oh, that's not too bad. 13x plus 2 equals 4x plus 38. All right, step number 1. Decide if all the math is done on the left and all the math is done on the right. There is no math to do here on the left. There is no math to do here on the right. So this is completely simplified. So it's time to start moving things. Here's our goal. X equals, and then there'd just be some number right here. We're going to follow our 3 steps that are on the board, the first of which is move all x's to same side. On the left, I have 13 x's. On the right, I have 4 x's. There's more x's on the left-hand side, so this is the side I want my x's to end up on. Somebody remember why that was? So we don't end up with negatives, hopefully. This is positive 4x, so the opposite is minus 4x, minus 4x. Over here on the left-hand side, I'm writing that minus 4x right below the x's that I have on the left-hand side. Some of us get confused and we write it here underneath the 2, and then we try to do the subtraction there. Just make it easy on yourself. Write it below the x's that are here. So 9x plus 2 equals 38. Now it's time for step 2. Move everything else to the other side. The everything else is this plus 2 right here. I just got through moving all the x's to the left-hand side, so I have x's and I have everything else. That's not a 0.2. It's plus 2, so the opposite is minus 2. Minus 2. 9x equals 36. The last step, divide both sides by the number in front of x. So I draw my divide sign on both sides. The 9s, we say the 9s cancel out. They actually reduce to the number 1, 1x. So 1x equals 4. All right, number 3. Number 3. 6n plus 4 equals negative 18. I'm going to start out the same way. I'm going to look over here on the left and decide, is there any math to do? Is there any math to do? Number 3. Distribute the 6. That's right. There is math to do over here. All right, on the right-hand side, is there any math to do? No. So I can't start my 3 steps yet because I do have math to do over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 6. However, really I could go ahead and start by dividing by 6 since 6 goes into 18 evenly. That will not always be the case, so let's just go ahead and start by doing the math that we can do over here on the left. 6 times n is 6n plus 6 times 4. 24 equals negative 18. Wait a minute. I like where you're going, Connor, but hold on. So now, is there any more math to do on the left? No. And there was none to do on the right. So we start with step 1. Move all the ends to the same side. It's already done. So step 2, move everything else to the other side. What's the everything else?
The plus 24.
Plus 24. So now do what, Connor?
Subtract 24 on both sides.
So minus 24, minus 24. You notice I wrote that minus 24 right underneath the 24. 24, take away 24 is 0. That makes it go away. So now I have 6n equals negative 42. All right, we've done step number 2. Now it's step number 3. Divide both sides by the number in front of n. So n, negative 7. I'm going to go ahead and do number 2 because it has fractions in it. Look, fractions are just numbers. It's just a different way to write a number. There's really no reason to be apprehensive about fractions. You just freak out for some reason. So let me go ahead and do number 2. It's 2 over 3 plus 1 over 6 q equals 5 over 6 q plus 1 over 3. All right. Is there any math to do on the left?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. How about on the right?
No.
No. So step number 1, move all the cues to the same side. Which side has more cues?
The right hand.
The right hand. You've got 1/6 here, and you've got 5/6 here. If a pie were cut up into 6 pieces, you would have more pieces here than you do here. So we're going to move this over here. All right. So it's minus 1/6Q. Minus 1/6Q. Okay, let's talk about how we can make this. If fractions freak you out, here's what you do. You pick your calculator up. Forget about the Q's for just a minute. It's going to be 5/6, take away 1/6. The easiest way to do that in the calculator is to write your fractions in parentheses like this. 5 divided by 6 minus 1 divided by 6. And then math, enter, enter. Two over 3. So I've got a way to handle fractions. They don't need to be a big deal. This was simple subtraction. It would have been easy to do since we have a common denominator, but then you have to reduce. Here you go, 2 over 3. All right. 2 over 3 equals 2 over 3Q plus 1 over 3. So we moved all the Q's to the same side. Now we need to move everything else to the other side. What's the everything else? The 1/3 right here. So minus 1 over 3, minus 1 over 3. This we know turns into 0, so we don't even have to worry about doing this part in our calculator. It equals 0. This, maybe you can do it in your head, maybe you need to use a calculator, so you pick your calculator up and you do parenthesis 2 divided by 3, see how fast that was, minus parenthesis 1 divided by 3. Math, enter, enter. 1 over 3. So 1 over 3 equals 2 over 3Q. Now we're down to the last step. Divide both sides by the number in front of Q. The number in front of Q is 2 over 3. So divide by 2 over 3, divide by 2 over 3. We know that this reduces to 1, so over here we have just Q. And we pick our calculator up, and we do it just like we would read it, except the parenthesis part. 1 divided by 3 divided by 2 divided by 3. Math, enter, enter. 1/2. Yes, no, maybe, yes. On each one of these, you heard me say these steps all the way from the beginning on each and every one. If you can get these, planted in right here, man, this is going to be so much easier for you. Move all the x's to the same side. Move everything else to the other side. Divide both sides by the number in front of x. All right, for those of you at the fair, we hate you. Not really. But we have to be here and you're not. So here you go. Your assignment is make it interesting. 10 through 20, the evens. 10 through 20, the evens. On page 100.